figured I'd get this review out earlier just because I got a lot of time because I finished my finals and at least for today, and I don't really have any homework. So let's get right into it. I did not take any trades today. I wanted to, no doubt, but I did not. I'm trading on two screens here, so um, give me a moment to situate. There we are. All right. So I was bullish to go into it. The daily and 4 hour were bullish, and then the 1 hour was bearish if you were going off of market structure, which is what I typically go off of, because this market structure, this swing low had been closed below, which made a market structure shift. But stupid me was like, wow, I didn't realize we had a change in state of delivery right here. So technically, we were actually bullish. That part was some of what ended up screwing up my analysis, but let's go ahead and drop down to the 5 minute here. And let's go ahead and see what we're looking at. The next thing that I wanted us to look at was SMTs. So let's go over here. Let's go ahead and just view our SMTs for a moment. We're going to go ahead and move to the 5 minute on both of these just so we get a straightforward view of the SMTs here. Coming into it, we had this SMT right here, which was from right here to right there. And this one over here, which is from there to right there. We also had this SMT, that went from this high to here. And then another one was made on this low right here, where we had this low that came in and retraced a high time frame level on ES over here. But on NQ, we didn't come down and hit that key level until after open, which is one of the reasons that I like trading at MNQ. But what caught me up here was I was like, I don't understand what key level we could be looking at. And the reason that is because when you look at the 1 hour, there's no swing high right behind it. And I was like, well, this is stupid. I don't know why we're reversing. I want to see it go lower, see us take out like maybe this order block. But I was just being a dense little child, and I realized that there's a swing low right here, which makes this a valid fair value gap, which turns this whole thing into an inverse fair value gap, which made me look dumb. It made me feel pretty dumb too. Now, if you look at this, the close of this candle is 373, and the open of this candle is 372, which means we also have a gap, which means this gap actually goes all the way to there. And then you extend this out, and I was like, I wonder if this hit like some, important level or something in the fair value gap, because that would be so weird if that's the case. And if you look right here, we hit the quarterly like to the tick right here, like literally to the tick. If you adjust these a little bit more, it becomes even like, see, now it looks like it's poking out, but that's just because this isn't centered. There we go. Okay, literally to the tick. Now we can go into lower time frames. The reason that this all lined up really well was we had our SMTs right here. We had this SMT, this one right there. We had that SMT, which happened at, here, let me drop down to a lower level so that I can explain this a little further. But we had this key level get taken out. And then not only do we have that key level taken out, we also have it hit specifically the first quadrant and perfectly fill that. And then we get a very strong rejection wick off of that. What happened with this from there was we then had a change of state of delivery on the 1 minute. And if you go to the 15-second, this is kind of what I'm playing with. I've been learning from this guy, Fearing, who's on X. And I think he's really cool, but he does 1 minute CISDs. What I was thinking about is if I can define the entry like perfectly, like something like this is like so obvious that it's going to retrace. It's like, all right, well, it's pretty clear that that is the level it's retracing at. There's probably, let's see, now that little wick is sticking out. It's bothering me. There we go. Okay. Now it doesn't even look like it's touching. Oh, I see why. I just keep moving it up and down. Anyways, it perfectly matches it to the tick. But if you can more accurately state that there is a a specific place in which price will retrace, which it was pretty obvious right here. We had this rejection wick right here, and then we had the CISD. I think you could have just pinpointed this and then said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and enter on the CISD here and put your stop either at the bottom of the bodies of that. This whole wick is actually considered a rejection block, but you could just put it at the body or you could put it at the bottom of the wick, whichever floats your boat. Either one would have been equally as relevant. And then what followed was you could literally just take profits to all-time highs, which makes for a pretty solid profit. But the reason that I was so dense this morning is I didn't realize, or I wasn't like, it's not even that I didn't realize, I was just dense in the sense that I didn't recognize that that price could be reacting off of that 1 hour because I thought we were bearish on the 1 hour. And I didn't think that that fair value gap was validated. And I typically use order blocks. There was like a lot of that I was just being pretty dumb about. So yeah, that felt kind of stupid, but it is what it is. Then some other things that I want to point out is we had this dealing range that we had been working inside of. No, I do want to get rid of that actually. We had this range that we had been working inside of from this low to this high, and then the CE of it's right here, and what's right below the C is that 1 hour fair value gap. That all lines up pretty well. One thing that I also want to look at is the first session of the day being from midnight to 6 a.m. This first quadrant is irrelevant. Then we look at these last three quadrants, and in this first quadrant from here, which is 7:30, to here, which should be 9, yep, 9, is all accumulation. This whole section from, let's see, 7:30 to 9 is all accumulation right there. And then we have our manipulation from 9 until, I mean, technically you could say until 10:30, that's fine. But at this specific quarter level, the quarter of this just 1.5, the quarter, it's a 22.5 minute window, but of this 90 minute is perfect. And that's where it reacts. It reacts right before that. And then we have our expansion from that point, from that line over until the next session where we go up a little bit more. But that was essentially our expansion. Then what I wanted to look at was this afternoon. I wasn't willing to trade just because I don't trade afternoons enough to feel comfortable trading them. I really wanted to take a trade, but I figured it would be kind of irresponsible, and so I didn't say anything in the Discord or anything. I was just monitoring it as I went to go. I had like a finals thing that I had to attend, but I didn't actually have to do anything because I did it last week. But from here, which is the second quadrant of a 6 hour quadrant of the day, it's complicated, but that over to here, which is just I know last time we took it out to here, but we had a reaction off this quarter specifically. So then on this quarter in particular, we have our manipulation. And then from that point on, we have our expansion. Up until, I'm not going to go and draw it out to the last, I'll go and draw it out to that quarter right there. That's our expansion. Those were the two that I was looking at today. I didn't catch this morning because I analyzed incorrectly and I wasn't patient enough and I didn't take my time because I was stressing over my Spanish final this morning. So I think that was definitely a big drawback for me. But I think that this hindsight analysis is valuable and also very accurate. I think it's telling me a lot about what I'm trying to look for in the market. So that makes me happy. We also had this 10 a.m. I don't know what happened with this, like, I watched it happen and I was like, I don't understand what the hell is happening, but it was only a couple seconds. And I mean, it's a lot of points. It's like 70-point wick. It's insane. Glad I wasn't in a trade for that and I would have been out of it before that happened. So that makes me happy. But Yeah, there was buy side liquidity here, and that's what would have been targeted here. But oh, once again, this level that I pulled out here was specific again to the 1 hour, because we have this fair value gap all the way back here. Gotta turn my magnet back on. Ooh, we can call that entire level. That's convenient. But there's these swing highs behind it, which validates this fair value gap, which validates the inverse, and then you extend it, and it gets passed through again, but it gets respected afterwards, which is what I was looking at. I didn't realize this until right about when it happened, but it was it looks like it's just a couple ticks off from hitting CE, and then we have this expansion up. We have our CISD right here. We close above it right here, so you could have entered right here, and that would have been fine. I know the guy that I've been watching a lot of, he entered on this candle over here. Not totally sure why yet. It may have been that because this is at 37, and this would have been at 43, so it's like 6 minutes after. We're kind of getting into this range in here, which is supposed to be dead range. And then he probably wanted to enter right before a quarter open. I'm just thinking out loud here, but that's kind of what I'm going through. It's what I'm thinking about. I turned off the TMSO just because I wasn't using it, because I do much higher time frame trends, like this kind of stuff, these bigger moves where there's like 1 or 2 of them a day. So I don't know. This TSO the true session open seems to be a lot more applicable for me, just because those are the kinds of time frames that I like to trade, where you see this accumulation for an hour or so, and then manipulation, then distribution for hours, and then accumulation, distribution, manipulation for an hour or two. I think those are the kinds of trades I'm looking for. But and I was going over the entry that I was thinking about for this. Again, you'd have had to have determined that this was the key turnaround point. And I think, I don't know, it's just interesting, because if you look at it's starting to make more sense to me why the guy that I've been watching for trade reviews entered here, which is right before, it's like, I don't know, it's within the 4 minutes and 15 seconds of, no, sorry, 3 minutes and 15 seconds of the quarter level. And over here, the entry that I was considering is over 6 minutes. I think it's over 6 minutes after 37 and a half. Yeah, it would have been 6 minutes later. So I guess it's a little bit outside the range. Whereas right in here, this entry right here is within, 3 minutes and 15 seconds of the 3 minutes and 15 seconds of the quarter. I don't know, thinking about that. But I did not trade today. Same as usual. I'm excited to get done with these finals, that I can spend all of my time on trading, or at least my entire morning besides working out, on trading. But anyways, I wish you all the best. Hope you all had a good day. Hope you found some insight with this video. And if not, then that's totally fine too. Feel free to check out the Discord, it's where I do my live comments for trades. Other than that, I haven't gotten these indicators out yet. I think I've just been a little busy with finals. I think I'm gonna go down to I'm gonna go cold plunge for a little bit, and then maybe I'll work on that tonight. I don't really have much else to work on, so probably do that. Hope you all had a good night. I hope you all had a good day trading, or I guess night or day, depends on where you're at. But see you guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.